ISAs are one of the most tax-efficient tools that can be used in the UK for saving £20,000 annual allowance per individual or £9,000 for children, grandchildren into JISAs. However, once you become a non-UK tax resident, ISAs are arguably nowhere near as valuable for you as they were when you were a UK tax resident. Number one, I'll be recapping what an ISA is. Number two, explaining what the impacts are for you now as a non-UK resident. And three, possibly what some alternatives you should be looking into instead. All right, basic elementary recap. ISAs, £20,000 annual allowance, £9,000 under the age of 18, which is called a JISA for grandchildren and children. A lot of my clients have built up significant ISAs over the course of their lifetime. A lot of people were maxing out their ISA contribution every year because obviously it's capital gains tax-free growth. However, once you become a non-UK resident, yes, you can maintain your ISA, but it depends upon your provider. You should be letting your ISA provider in the UK know, I've moved address, I've moved to America, I've moved to Europe, I've moved to Dubai, whatever it is, update your address on file with them. Some providers will allow you to maintain the ISA in the UK. You'll have no tax applied at source. It'll still be capital gains tax free. Other providers are very strict when it comes to non-UK residents, so you need to be very careful. Now, again, even the fact that some providers are very strict already suggests it's maybe not a suitable solution for you anymore. However, what I always say to my clients moving abroad, some people get very emotional about leaving the UK in an angry way. You know, I'm leaving the UK, I'm off to Dubai, screw Labour, screw government, I'm leaving, yada, yada, yada. I mean, I've seen clients do that before, and 4 years later, they're back in the UK, whether it be family, their partner, a divorce, kids, university, grandchildren, NHS, whatever it be, people can head back home. So I always advise people, if you're moving abroad, at the beginning, slow down. Don't sell all of your ISAs just before you move abroad, or unless you're really sure you're staying away for a long period of time. Get to the destination that you are as a non-UK resident, check that you like it, and you're definitely going to be staying there. There's no point going to France for 6 months, selling all of your ISAs, which obviously could have a tax implication for you, and then 6 months later realizing actually you don't like France and you're going back to the UK, because once you've taken that money out of an ISA, you can't retrospectively go and put it back in. So obviously you need to make sure you don't lose all those years of allowances that you've made. Now, abroad, as I mentioned, you can't really do much. You can continue to hold the ISA, you may even be able to continue to trade in it, but you definitely cannot make any new contributions. This would invalidate your ISA if you are not a UK tax resident, so be very careful with that. Now, the bigger question has to be here, ISAs are, particularly through the US, is a great example. ISAs are not recognized at all by the US. Obviously, if you want to seek tax advice, you can do so, but ISAs are not recognized in the US, and any growth that you had inside an ISA will typically be taxed. The other problems you get into in the US is PFIC. A lot of ISA platforms won't have stopped you investing in the wrong funds and whatnot if you are a US connected individual, but also even across Europe, many tax authorities will not recognize an ISA as a tax-free, capital gains tax-free, so any income or drawdown you take from it can typically be taxable. Now again, this is so nuanced, you need a tax advisor if you're doing cross-border financial planning. Here at Cameron James, we have a number of cross-border tax advisors we can put you in touch with. What you really need to be thinking though when you're living abroad is, if a UK ISA is no longer suitable for me, and I no longer have the capital gains tax-free growth, what am I doing inside an ISA? If you have 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever it is, how can that capital be inside a solution or a structure which is actually suitable for you as a non-UK resident, whilst also complying with the local tax rules of France, Spain, Dubai, Mauritius, America, wherever it is you're living? Are there more tax efficient solutions available? And this is a really important part of working with a financial advisor who not only understands the UK, pensions, SIPs, DCs, ISAs, but also understands the non-UK market as well. Could you look at something such, for example, an insurance fee in France? What about in America? What tools and solutions that are tax efficient could you be using there, as opposed to clinging on to a UK asset which is no longer suitable for you? And of course, if UK assets, ISAs can only be holding GBP, it's not necessarily going to match your retirement income or your retirement needs as well. So very important video today. I think a lot of people just leave ISAs and think, oh, I'm not going to do much with it. Let's see what happens. You really need to be maximizing that capital, particularly if you and your partner have moved abroad, or maybe even your children have JISAs if you've been good enough in the UK and you're on the ball setting them up. You need to make sure this capital is working correctly for you as a non-UK resident. And as always, as I say to all my clients, take care of the UK pension assets.